What's up, my beautiful black geniuses? Welcome to the Black Wealth Project. Today is our weekly town hall meeting. So every week at 7 p.m., we have our Black Wealth Project town hall meeting where we get together and we discuss all important financial and money, wealth, and economic topics that come up in the week. So this week's topic is who's in your top five? Now, normally we say who's in your top five, like for hip hop and MCs. But today we're talking about who's in your top five as it relates to black business icons. So listen, as you all start to file in, put into the chat who your top five is. Who are your top five black business icons? So what's up, team? How's everybody today?
Good. How are you? Corey, did you get a new phone or new? Look at you looking all shiny and new.
No, yeah, man,
he on that 5G down there.
No, man, my shit's 3D. It's just I don't have my glasses on, so I guess you can see all the juices and berries I put on my face.
I can't even deal with it. I can't.
Well, we know Jimmy got the juices and berries jumping today.
Come on, man.
So I guess that's the bottom.
He got the 80s soul glow.
Listen, man, I'm just out here quarantining, man. That's all. I take quarantine seriously, man. I need a cut, but I'm taking quarantine real serious.
All right, well, that's what's up. Well, today we are a little short of one team member, so hopefully Tracy will be on shortly. She had a couple other events, but the show must go on. So let's start off with our health check-in. How's everybody doing?
Man.
Yeah,
I'm great. Listen.
Yeah.
Right now, man. I'm in a zone right now in terms of like keeping my health together, man. Like I literally, today did like an hour run. I was in France this morning on the Peloton. You know what I'm saying? So
So you ran that straight, or you doing a run walk with?
Oh, it's a run walk, dog. I ain't running an hour straight. Come on, man. I ain't built like that yet, but I'm trying to get there. Let's put it that way.
Listen,
I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there, King.
No, but you'd be surprised what people can do. Like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on, man. But it's still Peloton. You know what I mean? I saw Malik with his jokes this week. But listen, man, we still Peloton gang over here.
Oh, I didn't see the Peloton jokes.
Yo,
he just would have meme. It was funny. It was funny though.
It was.
Okay. All right, Corey. I know you're getting up early to avoid that heat down there.
Yeah, man. I get up ass crack 30 in the morning. So before the sun really start to shine, it's 109 degrees out this joint, and so
now is that the heat index or that's actual?
No, that's the actual heat. I don't know what the heat index look like. I ain't even look because I ain't want to get scared. You know what I mean? I ain't want to act like a little hoe. So I decided not to look at the whole heat index. I just looked at I was scared enough at 109, so I just went out, did a little walk, got a few jump shots up. I just shot until I made 25 today, so I don't even know how many shots I took. And then I walked my ass back in the house. I ain't even played.
Your shoulders feeling better.
Huh?
Your shoulders feeling better.
Yeah, man, it's feeling better, man. I can actually get them up. I can lift it above my head now, so that's good. Young Charles stepped on my glasses, though, so that part of my health check-in is that I'm glad my eye's still in there. He was crawling on my face and kneed me in my face. I fell asleep, my glasses on. And he was crawling on my face, and his knee cracked my frame. So
He going MMA on you, huh?
Yeah, that's my everyday. Except for I fell asleep with my glasses on, so I can't even blame him. I should have took my damn glasses off. I fell asleep reading in the bed though. So when that was a rude awakening this morning to hear that crack on my face. I thought he had done me in. I thought he had, hit me in the face with one of them hard ass plastic toys. But that ain't happened. So I counted my blessings and just kept it moving and did my stuff this morning.
The joy of parenthood. All right, Malik, what you got for us?
It wasn't that great this week. It was okay. I did it was no fried foods this week for sure. It was no sugar except for the sugar that's in oat milk. And I did actually pull out my punching bag and I pulled out my bench. Before they were just stacked up. Now I've actually pulled them out, got them, I can almost use them. I got a few more, like 20 more minutes worth of work, and I can actually use them. So I'll probably be on a punching bag for a few rounds and get my weight bench back, and I'll be at it.
Yo, man, you still haven't contracted beef. That's why you started to muscle up. I know the contractors be running you right.
Nah, listen, they do, man. But that's why I actually got my insurance. I paid for it on Friday. I had my insurance Monday, and so by the end of next week, I have my own license, so I ain't got to worry about it no more.
Okay. Oh, so we GC out here, huh?
Yeah,
for sure. I got to do myself.
You gonna GC a project for me though, dog? You gonna only do yourself, or you gonna take,
No, I'm not taking on nobody else's projects.
Come on, man.
Don't be that person. Don't be that person.
All right,
I can only do me.
All right, Courtney, how you looking? How we looking?
Oh, man. It was a rough week. I actually just got off the bike maybe about half an hour ago. So I think I did something earlier this week, like on Sunday, and that I haven't put my tush on the bike until today, like a half an hour ago. Super busy week. I had my summit starting tomorrow, so I've been doing that. Been super busy at my 9 to 5, and I've been checking on project, real estate project that I have. The cupboard is bare. I had to manage a neighbor. Apparently, apparently the kitchen floor was marble. Once they pulled up the tile, there was marble under it, and they didn't know that. So that was they had to pull out the sledgehammer. It was a lot, and the neighbor complained. So I've been dealing with all that stuff. So I guess my health stuff went to the wayside. So I said, "Oh, not this week." So I had to get back on the bike today, so I could say I was on the bike today. And Peloton will send you a message saying, "Hey, you're messing up your 31-week streak if you don't get your butt on the bike by tomorrow." And I got that last night. So I was like, "Oh." Nice. Let me get that together. But I like that it's kind of accountability, and I feel like I have to keep up the Peloton swag because of some people like Malik who want to make memes about Peloton.
Hold up, a meme about Peloton? I missed that.
No, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's what Jimmy was talking about.
I missed that.
Malik was taking shots.
Funny. It was funny.
Malik will take shots at you. He ain't be bullshit.
Listen, I know Malik takes shots at me all the time. I know that.
Hey, Kamari,
it was funny. It was funny.
What's up, Malik?
I'm sending it to you right now.
No, he said he was sending you the meme.
Okay.
The meme.
All right, so listen, as everybody comes in, remember today's topic is who is in your top 5, your top 5 Black business icons. But before we move on with our regularly programmed show, I just have to state this for the record. I think Malik won this week in Battle of the Memes. Jimmy's not feeling it.
Of course,
Corey's not feeling it because he's on Jimmy's team. But I'm
saying the streets speak for me. The streets speak for me.
First of all,
gonna speak for me. So I ain't worried about it. But what I say is, Kamari will never give me my flowers, man. Kamari will never give me my flowers. It don't matter.
Yes,
like Corey, you can put up one tomorrow, and he gonna come in here next week and say that. No, he won't give me my flowers, man. The high 5 one, man, is top 5 of all. I'm not saying it either, though. I'm not even saying it. Go to the meme and read it. Read the comments.
I had to give my man his credit where his credit was due. He poured a Mike Jack out on us, dog. I said it was a cheat code.
That was hard.
That joint was hard. That joint was hard.
It was.
Anything Mike Jack's
listen,
hard.
Malik is number 2. Listen, Malik is number 2, man. He's my top student, and I appreciate all the work that he puts in with his memes, man. He's a legend in his own right, man. I'm not going to take anything away from Malik, man. He does his thing, man. But it's levels, though. You got to understand.
What you're saying? You're saying I'm young Malcolm. That's what you're saying. I'm young Malcolm. The
Honorable Jimmy Williams teaches us that memes go this way. Listen, man. Even the one I dropped today, man. I'm saying, little rod wave. I does this, man.
But listen, but the pressure on before you wasn't even done like that. Before, once are you here there? Now you took 3-4 a day.
Oh no. Listen, I ain't gonna front. You did make me step it up. But if y'all see some of the stuff I got I didn't even put my best work. Funny thing, I didn't even put my best work out yet, though.
He always say that, though.
I got 15 gigs of this stuff, man. I does this.
And listen, Jimmy, I caught your slight at me, by the way. Because you said
Which one?
said police number 2. So that means I ain't even in the rankings.
No, you're number 3. Listen, you're number 3. And you came with the fire today. You came with the fire today. I give you props. See, I want to problem giving you props. You came with your fire today.
3 don't matter. 3 don't count.
You're number 3. So that means you're dead last.
Nah, I'm not even on.
I just want to clarify for the record that there was only 3 people and you were number 3. I just had to keep all minds were clear.
It's all love, man. It's all fun, man. I look forward to what y'all put out, though, man. As soon as I get tagged, somebody like, I gotta go see this. So I look forward to see what y'all put out, man, because I love the meme. Because here's the, like, to be serious though, like it really is a way to educate people because I get so many comments and start conversations based on these memes. But one of the things that kind of like perplexed me this week. So for those listening that have no idea what we're talking about, we like have this meme battle. We put out finance memes on our Instagram and Facebook pages. But I put out a one this week that caught fire, like a high five meme. It's like close to 50,000 views now. But some of the comments I got were like, and that's how I know also when it goes to the next level, when you start getting like criticism. So it was about people not paying their rent. And I got a lot of folks who were telling me like, yo, you wrong coming at black folks like that. And then just in the conversations, it made me realize, like, what some of the people saying, like, when I say landlord, they automatically assume it's a white person and a tenant's a black person.
Wow.
And that hit me too. Like, and I asked somebody that, well, that's how it is generally. I'm like, really? Like, that's what you think? So even today, I put up a meme and it was making fun of people in MLMs, just joking. And people start coming at me talking about, well, MLM, that's the only thing that can save black folks. I'm like, that's what you think? What? So you associate MLMs with black folks and you associate landlords with white folks. Like this, we got work to do. That's all I want to say on that note. But it does give us a chance to engage with the folks and to have conversations.
But real quick, Jimmy, right? I want to tap in on that real quick. My dad was a landlord. So I always think of black people as being landlords because that's what I saw. Maybe they haven't seen that before. Maybe. Yeah. And that's possibly true, but it's just interesting to me in 2020 that's what people think, and they will literally told me like, well, yeah, that's what it is. I'm like, no, because someone was going back at them like, I own property, and I thought this was funny, and they're like, no, well, white folks are landlords. I'm like, we have people out here in 2020 who literally associate being a landlord with a white person and a tenant with a black person. So that was just interesting. That's an aside. I'm not trying to hijack the show. It's all good. That's really funny though. That's well, funny in a sad way. But listen. Yeah. But my point, those memes give us a chance to interact with people about serious comments.
I just went back through my joints for the week, bro. I'm giving you all the smoke on these joints for the week, man. And not only that, I used myself in one at your vacation destination. I brought it to your doorstep.
Yeah, you did. You did. No, you did. That was hard. And I don't even think nobody else got that. I noticed the Rick's Cafe. I did peep that. I was like, yo, he's at my spot. Yeah, killing himself. So I got
about diving into the joint. I seen it too, but I try to remain neutral, but he did come right at your face.
No, that was hard. Face guard. I loved it. I died laughing.
Hold on for a second. Courtney, what is that you're drinking? What are you having?
So today I have my caramel peach with coconut from Black Mama Teas and Vodka. Shout out to Vanessa Braxton. This is fire. Like, it's so good, y'all. I mean, like, it's just amazing. It's probably the best tea that I've had ever. I mean, it's good. And I'm a tea drinker. So I'm a straight tea drinker. I drink coffee, to get my little buzz on, but I enjoy tea. Like, I have a teammate. I have like a little teapot that my dad got me for, like, it's loose leaf tea, but it's automatic and it's amazing because I'm a tea drinker. So I also got loose leaf tea. So I have the strawberry essence. Yes. And I got this chai. I really, really like chai. Chai is like one of my favorite things. And I'll do a chai as a bulletproof chai, which is, with heavy cream, butter, and MCT oil, because I'm keto. But I'm just really excited. This is such fire. This is probably, like I said, the best tea I've had. It's really, really good. And I'm not gassing anybody like, oh, she wants to gas Vanessa. Like, no, honest to goodness, it's really, really good.
Right. Gotcha. All right. So as we move right along, shout out to Vanessa Braxton. Shout out to Black Mama Tees. But now is our official Black-owned business spotlight of the week. So Jimmy, what you got for us today?
Okay, yeah. So the Black-owned business of the week is Izzy and Live, right? So and this is their website here, Izzy and Live, izzyandlive.com, and they also have an Instagram page, Izzy and Live. Had to get him a shout out. Listen, my wife literally buys like a t-shirt from there. She probably spends a good 3 to 4 figures every couple months. She loves this site. So, and they do make some amazing t-shirts. You said something last week that struck me when you talk about like the culture and a problem with us celebrating and, displaying the culture and monetizing it. So they do a good job of that. And I think that, and I love their shirts. Like they have like nice, witty, smart shirts, and they're, made for people like us. So check them out, izzyandlive.com.
izzyandlive.com. All right, that's dope. That is dope. All right, so moving right along. Remember, today's topic is your top 5. Who is in your top 5? Who is in your top 5 Black business icons? So put in the chat who your top 5 is. Who do you like? You like my man from BT? You like my man from Ebony and Jet? Do you like my man from Rockefeller? I mean, who do you like? So put it in. You like the lady from Harpo or OWN? Let us know who you like. But let's check in with the people real quick before we go on. Let's see what we got here. Missy Edwards says hello to everyone. Hello, Missy.
Here,
Hey, Missy, how are you?
All right, Sharice Alexandra Magnum starts out strong. Suzanne Swank, Curtis Jackson, Shaquille O'Neal, Tracy Edmonds, and Ursula Barnes. Ursula Barnes is a G.
Tracy Edmonds. I forgot all about him.
Yeah.
Nairobi.
Nairobi, right.
Here, what's going on, Nairobi?
Mr. Edwards says Black Mama Tea is super good. Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still left out, man. Everybody already down with that, man. I got to get down.
Yeah.
And Andre Andrews says Reginald Lewis. And it's funny, somebody chimed in on our IG page and said Reginald Lewis as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But shout out to Andre. His I believe water ice and ice cream is just amazing. My mom.
He's got water ice and ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had. I think he got like a cheesecake flavor and banana flavor ice cream. I ain't had that yet, but I heard.
What's Andre's website or company?
Andre, shoot us the link, Andre.
Yeah,
and he got the CBD infused water ice.
Okay.
Where's he located?
And he's in West, right? He's out West.
I don't know where he in Philly. I don't know where.
No, he's definitely out West because we went out maybe about a year ago. Me and my mom went out for a little ride out there. And yeah, she really enjoyed it. I want to say it was like peach water ice. I don't know what we had, but she really enjoyed it because I feel like a lot of water ices are watery and they're not traditional Philly water ice. I feel like we've been oversaturated with Rita's, and Rita's ain't the typical Philly. It's smooth. But it's smooth. It's just everything water ice should be. So
okay. He said he's driving, but Andre, when you finish driving, man, you gotta let us know, man, because I definitely want to support. And you're getting rave reviews, so
yeah, I need that ice cream. I need that banana. But listen, when I had the ice cream, I'm gonna have a bad week, Kamari. When you ask me what you know, a week is gonna be terrible when I get that banana ice cream.
Listen, man, just walk it off.
Hashtag blame Andre.
It's good though.
Absolutely. So, all right. So as we move along to our main topic of the evening, we're talking about your top 5. Again, your top 5 Black business icons. Who's in your top 5? So starting off this week is Corey. So what you got for us, Corey?
All right, number 5. I'm coming in with Kathy Hughes. Kathy Hughes on Radio 1 and all of those, the radio stations. Number 4, we got Master P. Master P got every product known to man. He put out his own records, been independent since day one. Number 3. Oh, excuse me. We got Harpo, Oprah, multimedia conglomerate, doing her thing, big news, big business. Number 2 is Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson owned half of Sony's catalog, and he owns he owned Beyonce songs and all of that. Like Mike Jack was the man. Mike Jack owned the Beatles catalog. He owned Beyonce catalog for a minute. Mike Jack owned every damn thing. And number 1 is the Honorable Marcus Josiah Garvey on my top 5.
That was dope.
That's a good top 5. I like that.
Great top 5.
That's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. All right, Courtney, it's on you next.
Oh, it's on me. Okay, so so my list is a little bit different. I have a couple of recent and some old and whatever. So my number 5 is actually Tiffany Alicia. She is the budgetnista. She has grown her business to 7 figures, educating women about finance online. So she started with the Live With Your Challenge. I think it was maybe like 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. She grew her business to, like I said, 7 figures. It's just amazing. And she's done it in such a short period of time, but doing it by educating us, women of color, about money. So she's I think out of everybody that I have seen out there in the world educating, she's like my girl. So I love her. Melanie Hopson is my number 4, and I should put her at like 3. So that's my bad. So let me switch that. So I'm going to say Rihanna. Rihanna has taken her celebrity status and actually made it into she marketed it, and she's marketed in multiple ways. Puma. She was Puma. She has Fenty, the makeup line. She has her lingerie line. She just does so many different things. And I just think that basically it's how do you monetize yourself? And I feel like it changes the narrative, or it has changed the narrative because I think we've gone through, when we're watching the stories about Ray Charles, we're watching the stories about the older singers and R&B artists in the 50s and 60s and even the 70s and even the 80s, about how they basically were pimped by their record labels. And I'm not saying that, that's what ended up happening. I'm not saying that they went out and said, hey, let me go get pimped today. That's not what happened, but that's practically what happened. They didn't own much of anything, and basically their contracts were crap. And I share that to say is that she's really kind of changed the narrative to say, okay, I'm going to be more in power, but I'm going to be more in power of my image and my likeness, and I'm going to monetize that. And I think that's really dope. In terms of Melanie Hopson, she is the president and co-CEO of Ariel Investments. She is the former chairwork of GeneWorks. She's just super dope. She's out of Chicago, amazing. And like I said, I'm going to be partial to Black women in investments. So, and there's not that many. So just for her to be as strong and powerful as she is, big ups to her. Next, I'm going to say Nipsey. So I guess Nipsey probably should have been below everybody else, but whatever. Sorry, I try to get on in order, but that's not what happened. Nipsey, and I like Nipsey because, again, he took control of his image, his likeness. There's a couple things that I didn't really love, so I probably should have put him at the bottom. Basically, he definitely had a trust when he passed away, but he did not have a will, and that kind of put a lot of his businesses in jeopardy. So I probably should have put him as like number 5, but he really imparted a lot of great information about how to run a business, basically about marketing. He kind of just dropped it in his songs. I'm just like, yo, I really appreciate really appreciate him. But I guess based on those kind of missteps, I probably should have put him at the bottom. I'm going to say Madam P.J. Walker. She speaks for herself. First Black millionaire. Robert Smith. He is a billionaire, and nobody knew about him until relatively recently. And I love people who move in silence with their money. Like that's like my ultimate flex. I didn't know you existed. I didn't even know you had money. And you have your net worth about $5 billion. I love it. So that's my top 5.
Now, wasn't that 6?
It was, but we're not going to count for.
I know. I'm sitting here with a list of like 25 though, so I'm still right now trying to figure out how to get this to 5. This is more difficult than the MC list.
No, it is. But listen, I think it's cool because Everybody's got their top 5 MCs, but who's got their top 5 black business icons? We got to make being in
I only
business.
got one that's a definite. The other one, but anyway, I'm sorry. I mean to jump the line. I don't know if you're going to me or you're going to.
Well, Jimmy, it's on you, brother. It's on you. Okay. So what you going to do?
All right. So first I have Jimmy Williams. No, I'm joking. But seriously, the first person I would say is Philip Payton Jr. Philip Payton Jr. started off as a janitor and ended up becoming a major landlord and real estate agent in Harlem years ago. And he started owning. He bought multiple buildings, and he raised the capital from the African American business people. But Philip Payton Jr. Look him up and learn his story, because a lot of people don't know about him. I thought about a lot of people in the music business, like a lot of people you named, like, Nipsey's, the Master P's, and all those kind of folks. But I had to go back to the OG Barry Gordy. And the reason being is when you watch, like, his moves or what have you, everybody else who comes after him is basically his son or his daughter, because they're all trying to, do what he was the originator of. And also I hear people from other businesses talk about his systems. So I'm big on creating systems. And so I got to mention Barry Gordy. Annie Turnbow Malone. Gotta mention Annie Turnbow Malone, because most people mention Madam C.J. Walker, and she never really gets her just due. But she was actually, I think she was a millionaire before Madam C.J. She just didn't have the marketing team. But she's also a philanthropist who gave a lot of her money back to her folks, and she put other people in positions of power, such as Madam C.J. So Annie Malone. Man, this other one right here is tough because it was Reginald Lewis, but everybody keeps naming Reginald Lewis. So I want to bring someone fairly recent. So I'll say LeBron James. And why I'm going to say LeBron James is because he's changing the paradigm of what a businessman athlete looks like. And I'm big on people that not only generate revenue and business and income for themselves, but that put other people on. And what he's been able to do with his team, to me, is just amazing. So I'll say LeBron. And the only person I really knew for a fact had to be on this list as my number one. Everybody, it's so many other ones. Would have to be Earl Graves, because what that did for me personally with Black Enterprise is I can't even put into words, because that was a magazine that showed me that other people that look like me did amazing things from all walks of life. It's kind of what helps us do what we do now in terms of highlighting people of color. It really stems from what Earl Graves put together. So he would have to be my number one, because it's not just about, again, it's about what he built with his business, but also he put everybody else on, and he highlighted a bunch of people that weren't being highlighted. So Earl Graves is my number one.
All right. Dope list. Dope list. Malik, it's on you next.
The problem with going this far down is everybody already said your folk, your top 5. I want to try to be a little, but I will say this, man. As a real estate guy, Don Peoples is a hero, from what he was able to build. And Don Peoples, the ultimate stunt, he didn't even try to stunt. I was watching the CNBC interview at his summer crib in the Hamptons, and the host in the studio said, "Are you at a hotel?" He's like, "No, that's my house." I'm like, "Oh." Like, "That's your house?" He's like, "Yeah, it's the house." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And that was his summer crib. It wasn't even his main crib. It was a summer crib. He thought it was a hotel. Ultimate flex. Don Peoples, 100%. He's up there, right?
Too.
His book was his. I read 2 of his books, right? So now I got then after that, Madam C.J. Walker. My son is named Connor Jace, but I had to make sure that C and the J was there. Madam C.J. Walker was a real influence to me as far as how she was able to. It's not necessarily just for being a millionaire. It's about having the money and then reinvesting it to have everything that she else did around St. Louis, the theaters and the stores, and how I empower other people. And I know Annie Malone probably did some of that stuff, but like you said, she probably didn't have that marketing team. Then Master P, of course, I think Corey already said P. But P has definitely been transformative. I like how you broke and you could turn down a white man $1 million, say no, I'll do it myself, and then show everybody else how to do it themselves, and not never taking no for an answer. And then he And after all these years, he's still dropping gems. He's still giving game. He's still giving back to the community. He's still like, yo, I'm telling y'all, get you some product, you know. And ultimately, I do like the Migos chips. Those Migos chips are fire. A little salty, but they are delicious. So Reginald Lewis got me through college. My last year, when I was thinking about jumping out, I only had like 12 more hours to go. I would read an excerpt of Wash It, Why Guys Have All the Fun, and I would listen to Dead Prayers on repeat, and like this Discipline, that song Discipline on repeat, and this excerpt from that book. And that's what got me up every day to finish off my last semester. So, you know, Reginald Lewis, especially coming from, you know, Baltimore in the hood, and everything that he did was just amazing. And my number one, I think that I really want to do a whole show. I think we probably do a whole show on the genius that is Nipsey Hustle, and what he was able to do. And I think that with Nipsey, people just underestimate. They think, okay, smart guy, business guy, everything, right? But to go from like really being a crip, really out here gang banging, to transform your life and to transform everybody else's life around you to the point where he had other people that were in the streets decided to get out of the streets, and other people reinvesting their money to start businesses and doing these things. And like, there's really changing the narrative. Even right now, like, you know, a year and a half after his death, you have people up to 50-year-olds like still using the lessons that he taught in his music. They weren't even Nipsey fans, but they just take quotes from his music when they making moves, and they're showing what they're doing, taking quotes from Nip. And I think that I really believe he deserves a whole show for everything that he was doing.
All right. Don't list.
Yep.
Last is me. So this is in no particular order. I don't even feel good about trying to rank people in terms of their contributions because I can't, in my mind, list them like that. But first person I got on my list is A.G. Gaston's Black Man and Jim Crow South and Segregation in South. I call him the $100 million man. So A.G. Gaston was able to amass over $100 million during the Jim Crow era till about the 80s when he passed. That's phenomenal. You know, when we talk about striving over adversity and overcoming obstacles, I mean, this guy was in Alabama with the likes of Bull Connor and was still and worked in the mines, right? And he was still able to amass $100 million, and he worked with his mom, and he worked with his wife, like he was the epitome of Black business. Not only that, a lot of times I see a lot of, I don't know, elitist conversations, or they say Black business people are elitist. Now, A.G. Gaston was no fan of Martin Luther King in the beginning, but he wound up building him out. And so when you look at the progress Black business owners have helped with the Black community, you can't ignore that fact. All right. Number two, or my next one rather, is Robert Church. Robert Church was highlighted in the book Black Fortunes. I was hoping I had it here with me. I don't. In the book Black Fortunes, Robert Church was basically like the Don of Memphis in the 1800s, right after slavery. And so he was one of the 6 that was highlighted in the book Black Fortunes. So I would suggest everybody look him up. Robert Reed Church was so dope that the man shot the cops. And I'm not trying to promote violence, but I'm just saying he shot the cops in self-defense. They burned down his bar. They burned down his businesses. He was so bad that he was able to build it all back up. And then when Memphis had a plague, he actually wound up buying most of Memphis, especially a large part of downtown Memphis. Matter of fact, one last thing about Robert Reed Church. He also helped to fund people's expansion, Black folks' expansion or moving to Tulsa. I mean, he put up his own bridge. So, last one on Robert Reed Church. He also supported Ida B. Wells. So, you know, when you think about all these great Black scholars and leaders and advocates, it always seems like they always kind of wind up being interconnected somehow. All right, my next one, John Johnson. Now, I think John Johnson, if you know who John Johnson is, Ebony and Jet built those. He actually took his mother's couch and pawned it to get the money to start that magazine. And this guy was making millions by the time he was like 32 years old. But the most notable thing about Don Johnson to me, or the most gangster thing, he was looking for a building in Chicago. They wouldn't sell it to him. The white company would not sell it to him. What did he do? He sent his lawyer out, proposes him, and he got the building, all the while posing as a janitor. And so that taught me something. Never get too big, for your own britches, and be willing to do the low things, the uncommon things, the dirty things, in order to get the job done. All right. My next one, Robert Smith. Now, Courtney brought up Robert Smith, like you said. This man has been moving in silence. He is a tech private equity manager and owner. So for all of y'all that don't know what private equity is basically when you buy out older stage companies and you take them over. He just sold something to Adobe for like $2 billion or something like that. Total gangster move, and like Courtney said, man, $5 billion plus and some change. All right, last one. Got to put this one out there. It's been mentioned at least once, if not twice. But also reading the book Black Fortune, we found out that Annie Malone was actually the first Black female millionaire. She was actually the foundation and mentor for Madam C.J. Walker. No shade to nobody else's list, but I do believe the truth matters. But again, she wasn't a hype person. She wasn't into the PR. She wasn't into the marketing. So that's why history doesn't quite have her story correctly. But that's my 5. That's my 5 right there.
So I should have clarified. So my bad. So I should have said Build as the first millionaire. And I do know about Annie Malone. And I think that's what I should have clarified, because I think it goes to the point about marketing that we don't really talk about. Like, we get really upset. Like, I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago generally about how as black finance professionals will be shared more so than a white person saying the same exact a white person saying the same exact thing as we say, but we will their information will be shared at a rate 10 times more than us. So I think it's about marketing, is about what we kind of perceive in the ethos, but in the ether, I should say. But also on top of that, it's about marketing. It's like who, it doesn't matter who was first, is that who does everybody think is first? So I think that is something that we as business people need to be mindful of. Not that it's correct, but it's that, perception matters.
No, I mean, I agree. All right, so before we get deeper into the conversation, listen, everybody, share this out with a friend. Share this out with somebody who doesn't know that much about Black business owners who've been stunting for years and decades. All right, remember, we're talking about who's in your top 5. Who are your top 5 Black business icons? And so while you all share this out, let's hop into these comments. What were we saying, Jimmy?
I said what's crazy is I have a list, and I talked to my wife earlier. I was like, I was writing a list out, and she was helping me write a list out. And you guys named pretty much everyone that I didn't name, with the exception of like Damon John and like Byron Allen weren't mentioned. But you guys mentioned pretty much everybody that I didn't mention. That's crazy. And there's still so many more. That's the illest part. Is There's so many more that we haven't talked about.
Right. And I mean, I think that's sad. In a large respect, I know sometimes we get into these conversations about symbolism and why symbolism doesn't matter. I disagree. I think when young Black boys and girls get to see people that look like them doing great things, I think it matters. I think it shows them that they can do almost whatever they want. So I think it matters. All right. So okay, Malik.
No, just real quick. I do say, I think that people that also won't get mentioned, maybe it's be more of a societal thing and a personality thing. Like Floyd won't be mentioned, but what Floyd did, I think, was genius for taking over his own brand, like his own marketing. And I think that
Floyd Mayweather.
It's about Floyd Mayweather, right?
Yeah, Floyd for sure, and definitely Bill Cosby. I mean, Bill Cosby. You know, despite his alleged rape, you know, he's probably responsible for thousands of people, myself included, and even going to an HBCU for that experience. Like without a different world, not at without a different world, you know, I might have went to Westchester, saying something like that. You know,
hey, I went to Westchester. Easy, young G.
I wasn't a shot. I wasn't a shot. I'm just saying,
no,
like, without
what you're saying is facts, though. We need like a separate list, like Bill Cosby, Russell Simmons. We gotta put them on a list over here somewhere.
Yeah, because I wanted to say Russell Simmons, but I was a little leery about his allegations, so I left Russell off the list.
Put him and Cosby on a separate list.
It was about who do you like?
Hey, listen, man, I like Russ, but I don't like him enough. I don't like him enough to put him on a list with all of those other people that does not have those same issues as Russ did.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said,
allegedly.
But like Malik said, I don't even think it was just HBCUs. I think the Huxtables and
yeah, they changed family life. Period. Like you got to see a regular family on TV.
Yeah, a regular family, and to go to college in general. Right, and it was multiple generations. Like you had the granddad, you had the grandma. It showed something different. Can't excuse Cosby for what he was charged of, but I don't think we can necessarily cancel all his works either. Though.
No, I'm not canceling his work. We just did though. You know what I mean? Like, listen, man, your work is your work, good and bad. So you know what I mean. Whatever you did is what you did. Period. Good and bad.
He allegedly did.
Well, no, it's not alleged. He
admitted that he admitted the passing off those those roofies.
But he did. He listen.
I say we move on right now. I think we should move on right now.
Have you noticed?
He did not admit that though. That's not what he admitted.
Let's see what the audience got to say, Kamar. Let's see what people they picked. I want to see if anybody said anybody that we didn't say that we got to acknowledge.
So, Mr. Edwards says, "Love Tiffany." I'm going back to Courtney, right? Tiffany the Budgetniece is probably my favorite out of all the so-called gurus out there because she moves with authenticity and transparency, and ain't none of her stuff been janky. So I appreciate that about her.
Mm-hmm.
Shami says, "Nice." Willard, what's up, Willard? He says, "Earl Graves."
Hey,
he was introduced to Black Enterprise at his barbershop as a teenager, like so many of us.
Yeah, that's why I gotta give God his flowers.
All right, so my man Karan's got some I've never heard of. Vincent Cullors, A.G. Gaston, Robert Reed Church, Steve Stout.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Stout,
commissioner.
Yeah, man.
I never heard of some of them people. I gotta look them up.
Well, I never heard of Vincent Colliers. Eddie Brown is in Baltimore. He runs Brown.
Yeah, he's in Baltimore. I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him. I don't know about that Steve Stout pick though.
Vincent Cullors. I think Vincent Cullors in like marketing and advertising, if I'm not mistaken. Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
I think I may have heard of him.
All right, Shami says that's going to be me. No one would know.
I was talking about moving in silence with the money.
Oh,
I mean, Shamice might already got that bread.
Yeah, she out there trading. All right, Monica Williams. She the cheat code. What's up, Monica? Annie Malone, Maggie Walker, Damon John, Tyler Perry. Undecided on my.
That's a fair one. I know a lot of people kind of feel some type of way about the way he portrays people, but some people do.
I know.
I mean, I don't really care. I don't.
It's an interesting debate, but I understand both sides. Let's put it this way: I understand both sides of it. I see. I used to be bothered, but I also see like. I'm big on empowering other people and giving people jobs. Like that's big.
And he put on for the people when it comes to those jobs. He don't BS. He put black people on.
Most of the people complaining about him have never gave nobody a job or gave no one an opportunity. So you gotta think
because I've never seen a Tyler Perry movie from beginning to end, but I appreciate the work that he does.
I'm gonna tell y'all, like Tyler Perry's got one of my favorite movies. Daddy's Girls is one of my favorite movies, and I don't think enough.
I would never know.
Yeah, I think you actually would like it. I think how hood it is. I think you would like it.
Okay. It's never gonna happen, but okay.
That's crazy.
All right. Well, it says John Johnson, Ebony, and Jet were both educational, inspirational. I agree.
Nice.
Matter of fact, Ebony and Jet were very instrumental in the civil rights movement.
Yeah, they were.
Philip Payton Jr. will look him up. Who said Philip Payton Jr.?
That was Jimmy.
What did he
the
do?
God. Real estate. He was a real estate magnate. Back in the early 1904, and as the people migrated from down south coming towards New York, they really had nowhere to stay. So he was a janitor, but he started like pulling money together and buying buildings in Harlem. And he became a multimillionaire, and he raised his capital from black working folk. This is an amazing story, though. I'll share something about him on our page once the show is over. But yeah, Philip Payton Jr. is that guy.
Okay, thank you.
Oh man, I played myself. I missed my opportunity, man. But the dude,
the soldier dude.
No, 1036.
Oh, the legend out of Philly. The pastor. What's his name?
Man.
Leon Sullivan.
Leon Sullivan.
Yeah, Leon Sullivan.
Reverend Leon Sullivan.
Yeah, from Zion Baptist.
He changed Philadelphia. He changed the landscape of Philadelphia in a way that no other black person in business has done.
I agree with that.
Yo, I just want to ask a question real quick. Karan, are you in advertising? Because I think Vincent Colors is advertising, and I know you mentioned Steve Stout, so I wonder if Karan himself is in advertising.
He is. Karan does like a lot of digital video and photography.
Okay, just wondering.
Yeah,
he does a lot of commercials.
Hold up, somebody said was smart. Why you skip over that one?
Where?
Couple comments back.
Jimmy Smart.
Okay, I just want to make sure we acknowledge that. That's all. Shout out to Will. What's up, Will? I'm just making sure we acknowledge that. That's all.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I didn't want to.
Sure, keeping you honest.
Don Johnson says, check it in a little late. AG Gas
What's up,
is one. Booker T. Washington, number 2. Okay.
Not a problem. That's dope.
Yeah, that's all.
Dave Bing, and Junior Bridgman.
Another one.
Both of them used to both ball players. They was both ex-ball players.
Junior Bridgman has a lot of the Wendy's, but who's Dave Bing?
No, but listen though, Junior Bridgman is so
used to play for the Pistons. Dave Bing used to play for the Pistons, and so he the one who put Vinnie Johnson on. They used to make the sprockets for the cars and for machines and stuff.
But Junior Bridgman is so ill. He built up that portfolio of Wendy's and then flipped them into equity and a big part of like Coca-Cola bottling. So he has like a huge Coca-Cola bottling thing and equity in that company too. And he flipped the Wendy's into that. So he's been making power moves.
Yeah.
Don Johnson. W.T. Martin says Don Johnson.
John Johnson
has an amazing story.
Yeah, Junior Bridgman. LeBron James. Janice Bryant.
Yeah, Janice Bryant is definitely Reverend Leon Sullivan. My favorite is Reginald Lewis. How you doing, Faith?
Mine too, Reginald Lewis for sure.
There's a documentary on Reginald Lewis. His life story is very interesting. Yeah. And how he got married is definitely very interesting too.
That book was everything though. I think that book, like all of us love that book.
Yeah.
So Karan says Steve Stout is probably the most influential advertising agency, right? And most of his leaders are black. Okay. Vincent Collier founded the first black ad agency. Okay, I did not.
I have heard of him. I'm not familiar with his story, but I have heard of him. That's why I asked, was he in advertising?
Yeah.
Janice Bryant. Look at that picture. It's so nice.
Look at Jimmy shape up. Yes.
Listen, man, I'm taking quarantine seriously, man.
He got that soul cloak on now. I'm sorry, Juices and Berries. He got the Juices and Berries.
Come on, man. Let me live, man.
She made moves that allowed Madam CJ to be the person we learned about while Annie is a well-kept secret. But Walker had something to tell us. So I agree. I think
I wonder if we can.
That reminds me of the Hamilton song. If you die, who tells your story?
Right.
You know what? I would like to know, like, what's up with her family now? Like, what happened to? We know that Madam T. Walker's daughter squandered the fortune, right? But what happened to Annie Malone, like her family? We should, I guess, Jimmy, T-shirts, dude. Why not have to these families? Like, what do they still own? What do they still do?
I know Annie Malone is still, her legacy is still big in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't speak to anything else.
Because I know she had a school that lasted years beyond her.
Right.
But who knows what happened long term.
Right. Shimmy says job creators. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And they call Philip the father problem. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, legend.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. Who else do y'all have on the list? All y'all in the listening audience. Dave Bing was off to the mayor of Detroit. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sheree Adams, how are you?
Hey, Sorvar.
I'm Robert
Smith.
The gentleman who gave millions to Morehouse. The gentleman who gave millions to Morehouse is the white guy.
No, it was Robert Smith, man.
Robert Smith.
Oh, okay. I thought she was talking about, you know what, never mind. Doesn't matter.
Robert Smith.
Someone answered her in the comments, though. Faith answered her.
Robert Smith gave money to Morehouse before Robert Smith. That doesn't get any credit.
Okay.
Oprah. So who had Oprah on their list? Somebody had Oprah on their list.
I did.
Yeah, Corey did.
Yeah, it's amazing how we dog her as a community. But
hey, listen, I'm not really a big fan of hers either, but I love her business. Again, like I'll pick people that I'm not really a fan of their work, but if I see what they do, like she's hired a bunch of black people. She tried to create a lane for black people to have a lane, you know, to do things. And so, you know, even though I'm not a super fan of her work, I don't have to be a super fan of how her work has affected black people.
Yeah, I think we always have to be careful about the purity test. I feel like every time we look at somebody's stuff, we always have to say, well, are they a good, you know, and not saying that you ignore, like, okay, if someone's a serial killer, okay, listen, you know, I don't care how good your business model is, we have a problem. But I think we consistently look for the purity test. Well, they have to be, you know, they have to do everything that we think they should do for us to acknowledge their other stuff. Like if I say something about Kanye, everybody's like, oh my God, it's Kanye. And I was like, he makes good points. I mean, College Dropout is still on rotation. I mean, is he having some real life problems right now? Of course. Do I wish he just stopped talking? Of course. Which I wish he would just kind of just go away for a while? Of course. But there's some stuff that he was doing and saying and all of that other stuff that I think is a great thing that we can still acknowledge and still say what you're doing right now is not okay. But some people, for some reason, we can't walk and chew gum. You can. It's all right. And you can acknowledge, just like you acknowledge a family member, like, hey, you know, I really like Aunt so-and-so, but she has a drinking problem. I mean, you can do that. You can appreciate people for who they are. We're all flawed in some way, shape, or form. So you can acknowledge flaw and still acknowledge something that's amazing. And that's what makes
that's a great point, because we live in a time now where, like, because of social media and just as much information as we get, I don't know if we'll ever be able to, because everybody does that. I don't know if we'll ever be able to have those legends that, you know, will be mentioned without all the, well, we got to excuse them for this, that, because, you know, that's just the time we're living in. And it's crazy because, again, this was a great exercise for me because it made me realize, and that the reason I had Earl Graves #1 is because his work is what kept me abreast of everybody making these moves. So I had a list that had so many names on it, and and Kamari's like, no, you got to narrow it down to 5. So, but a lot of these people, we don't even know their personal life. So we could talk about people who were entrepreneurs in the 1800s, 1900s. We don't know a lot of their personal lives, but the people that are making amazing moves now are getting judged on a different scale. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
Right. So Oscar, I always forget how to say Oscar's name.
Michelle.
Okay.
But was he actually a business person? Willard? I don't know. I know he made films. But you know, it's out of curiosity. But many of us don't think of Oscar Michelle and even think that he's black though. So
anybody mention oh damn, I was just getting ready to say that. O.W. Gurley.
Now, O.W. Gurley is his story is kind of interesting. He kind of skated off on his lady.
That part of the book, Kamari, when I listen, because I read the book, listened to that part of the book had me in tears because I thought it was going to go a whole different way. And that's the Black Fortunes book. Right. And for those who don't know, I'm not ruining anything, but maybe I am. But they talk about when Tulsa was burning down and his wife told him, just go save yourself. And he looked at her and turned around and kept going. It's not funny. It's not funny at all, but I thought it was about to be a hero story, and he turned around and ran back and saved it. It was like, no, he kept booking. But but again, that doesn't take away from his work, does it, Kamari?
No, not at all. Not at all. All these stories are complex and nuanced, and a lot of times we get caught in black and white. But everything's nuanced, man. Everything's nuanced. So Ty, Jimmy talked about Dr. Graves or Mr. Graves.
My number one.
Shout out to Mr. Graves too, because he gave a bunch of money to Morgan State as well.
He's alumni, HBCU alumni.
Matter of fact, I think he was either a Pepsi bottler or a Coke bottler. I forget which one it is. So
might be Pepsi.
O.W. Gurley and J.B. Stratford. Never heard of J.B. Stratford.
He was part of the team to help Black Wall Street.
Got it.
Oh, okay. Especially since everyone wants to rebuild Black Wall Street. Okay. Definitely Earl Graves Sr. But you know what? Going back to Earl Graves, right? Mm-hmm. Shout out to him again, because now his son, Earl Graves Jr., is running the business. So he built a family-owned business as well. Mm-hmm. And that is not an easy thing to do.
No, sir.
Sometimes you have to separate business from personal. I agree.
Yeah.
So did A.J. Gaston. So did A.J. Gaston what, Don? I missed the context on that one. My fault. Oprah has done so many things behind the scenes. Absolutely. Kirsten, thank you for putting that up there. She had to keep the powers to be happy, so she could come off as not doing as much as we think
I don't really agree with that. I think that she knows her audience. Her audience is middle class white women, so she does stuff to satisfy her audience and keep the ball rolling. So, I don't think there's as much conformity as in understanding who your audience is.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all.
Malik's statement.
No, I mean, it's that she's doing something to appease somebody else. It's her money, and she actually champions things that are important to her. And I think that's one of the most amazing things about having your own stuff. You can champion whatever you want, and I think at the end of the day, those are the things that were important to her. And to kind of cross it off as, she had to keep the powers that be happy. It's her money. Now, when she first started her show, I think that's kind of more when she was doing her thing to kind of keep the powers that be. But when she started to kind of branch out and start giving her money away, or actually building empire, she did what moved her, and I think that's very, very clear in her moves.
But I think also, right, I think we forget, right, a lot of times we have short memory. So she gave money to Cabrini. She's been giving money to Morehouse. And by the way, this is no diss to Robert Smith, right? Mm-hmm. Robert Smith is paying back loans. Oprah paid tuition. Like, she just straight paid the tuition. So there was no loan application piece. And I think people need to understand that. And again, I don't think we give Oprah the credit. By the way, neither one of those things, Malik, go towards Oprah's fan base. Morehouse doesn't. Neither does the school in Africa. She has a school in Africa. So
yep.
I know. I was talking about more about her comment, like how she made like a Dr. Phil and other like the doctor, like all these characters that she created. That like I said, that's just
Eliana. I always say that name. Van Zandt. I mean.
No. Like I said,
she also got the Rachel Ray's, the Dr. Phil's. It's a list of
like I said, she's genius in that way to take her. She basically put a whole bunch of white people in blackface in a way. Like she able to use them to build her audience. I'm not mad at that. I think that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to use people, right? As far as business capitalism.
I just want to say real quick, Kamari, I think this is a good time to talk about a lot of books that can be mentioned based on this episode, because you mentioned Black Fortunes, which I do think everybody should read. But A.G. Gaston has a good book too. It's called The Black Titan. Reginald Lewis, Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? I know People's Principles, Don Peebles was mentioned. So there's a lot of information about these folks out here, and I just want to put that on the record that if you haven't read any of those, make sure
you gotta read the Honorables book too, man. Marcus Josiah's book, man. Garvey.
Yeah, the Thoughts and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. That's another book too. But there's a lot of books of the folks that were mentioned in this show.
John got 3, but you only need to read the first one. The other through the same content, different order. So
which one?
Damon John.
Yeah,
Okay.
Damon John.
Yeah,
got
like
three
all three of his books is the same content in different orders. So get the first one, he'd be fine.
Listen, he running the same game them folks do. He figured it out. Like, yo,
Yeah,
listen, Robert Kiyosaki been doing it for 15 years at this point.
Can we not
longer than 15 years, but yeah.
Yeah, however long it's been. He been running that same story back. So
Dub stepping.
All right, so Shrek was in Tulsa. Okay, got that.
Mhm.
Oh, AG had a woman on the side. Okay.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
he worked hard.
Yeah, Kirsten, we talked about Tyler.
It ain't tricking if you got it.
That's my sister, y'all. Hey, sis, how you doing, sis? I love you.
What's up,
Oh,
sis?
she in a ranch too? She in a ranch? No.
No, man. My sister in Philly. And stop trying to say I'm stunting, dog.
Well,
Easy.
but you know, we ain't gonna talk about that too much.
But I think it's really important to kind of like sum up a lot of the things that we were talking about. It's about those who have really created an empire, who have actually amassed a lot of money, have created their own. And I think it just always goes back to ownership. Own some ish. You have to own some, because you have to. Ownership gives you control. And I think we forget that, and we're always looking. And I think we get tied so much to a salary. A salary is a set amount of money that you're going to get. So no matter if you work 1 hour or 100 hours, you get the same amount. And I think once you own something, you have the ability to leverage it. And once you're able to leverage, you're able to expand your empire.
Absolutely.
That's
I
right.
think we're all on the same page on that one.
Own your time and space. That's all I can say.
Where's your book?
Man.
Where's the book?
Come on, man. You already know I got it right here.
Okay.
Own your time
I
and
gotta
space.
make sure it was lifted up.
That's right. Listen, man, a wise man once told me, Corey told me that when you own assets, having a time machine, because it gets you your time back.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. Well, listen, if anybody has any other black icons y'all think we should look at.
Are we going to talk about our tussle?
Magic Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Magic Johnson.
yeah,
That's
Magic.
another one. Oh,
Yeah.
man, we forgot about Magic.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
Michael Jordan's a billionaire. I mean, I know Kamari mentioned Jay-Z if you want to bring up what he's done.
Yeah, I think Magic though. Like for me, I'm surprised I forgot Magic. Magic is my favorite basketball.
You forgot Magic?
Yeah,
what's his name? I think in Detroit, John Roberts, another real estate guy. His name was on everything.
It's so many. That's what I'm saying. It's so many. It's so many black folks out there that have done amazing things and continue to do amazing things. I think that was dope that Courtney named someone who's operating right now. I thought that was dope. I felt like
you know who I was going to name, but I thought it was kind of goofy. Like not goofy, but I was going. Huh?
Me?
No.
No, I'm joking.
But listen, right? But listen, someone very close. Ish.
No,
okay,
Ish is there. Ish
is baby Oprah. Like she's baby Oprah. She's baby Oprah.
I think that when it's all said and done, like given like the next 2-3 years, I think she'll have a similar impact as a Nip, as like some other people. Like she's reaching that many people, right? And then her awareness is only growing. And then now she has the book, the physical and digital, and another book coming. And I think that her impact is really going to be way bigger than what it is now.
And she bought that life, and she real. It ain't no tomfoolery, ain't no faking, ain't no BS. She right through it.
That's that central education.
Indeed.
But I think Jimmy made a really valid point. He said, it's just amazing. A lot of amazing Black people have done amazing things. And the implication is in spite of all the crap that we have thrown at us. And I thought that was a great segue to the crap that we had on our page today.
Oh, yeah.
We got a nice little tussle earlier. And I think it's a conversation that needs to be had because
Courtney, it ain't a tussle. We getting terrorized out here, y'all. We got these like terrorists out here.
Well, we basically have trolls, y'all. We have trolls. So just know in the internet worlds and the internets, we have trolls, and they come to our page and they basically try to tell us where to go and what the good Black should be doing, and it's sickening, honestly. And I ain't have it today. And Corey popped in, and we were it's just one person. But I think I like to share it because I feel like, again, it has a very paternalistic narrative that I'm tired of, that we see a lot, and we see it entirely too often, especially in our spaces. I mean, he made a lot of comments that just were not true. He's telling us that, he wasn't the beneficiary of, he was an immigrant. He's a child of an immigrant. He wasn't a beneficiary. He wasn't a slave master, and neither was his parents, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but you're still a beneficiary of white supremacy. Could you stop it? Could you stop it?
All right, so hold on, Gordy. Give them a little bit of context of what you're talking about.
He's a troll. The context. We had a troll today. There.
It was a Russian bot.
Yeah, he's definitely a Russian bot.
He just
there's a post on our page in reference to reparations with Robert Johnson. Anybody even mention him today? It's talking about his plan for reparations. And that one post, it seems like once a week, we get a Yakubian to come on the page and tell us why it's all wrong, why it shouldn't happen. Once a week we get this kind of activity. So today a gentleman came on the page and was talking about how stupid reparations are, how we're playing the victim, and all the Fox News talking points.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
From A to Z.
And Courtney laid him down. She laid the cover fire down so classy.
She laid it
down. It's so classy, and then I responded with the not the less classy version and said, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like, because
Courtney's a lady.
Yeah, Courtney's a lady. Yeah, but Courtney has very low patience for that stuff. I have none. I don't play that game. I don't play that game with nobody coming to black spaces with the bullshit. Leave your white friends home. Anything that's dealing with me, leave your white friends home.
Like, listen, and it's just like, to me, it's like, yo, you're out of pocket. And again, I have a very low tolerance. But what we're not going to do is this. You're not going to come on my page with nonsense, and you're not going to come on with false narratives. We're not going to do that, and we're not going to allow it to flourish in the space. And again, he had nothing good to say. He wasn't trying to be helpful. He was trying to, again, put us in our place. How you going to put somebody in their place on their page? No, sir, you are all the way in the pocket.
I'm trying to scroll through now and find this.
This nonsense.
All you gotta do is
go to the Robert Johnson joint, because that's where they all come to.
The notifications.
Yeah, go to the like I would go find the notifications, because he's been going, and he said something else. He was like, "You're a really angry racist," and I was like, "No, I'm not, and I'm not going back and forth with you. I don't have nothing else to say. There's no time that I have that I'm willing to give to you and your nonsense, because you came. I mean, honestly, I know you guys feel some type of way about blocking people, but I'm not a block ban.
No, I got time. It's not, man. I got time. I got time. Don't worry about it. I got time. I'll make time. Don't worry about it. I'll set fire. I'll set fire to his empire. Don't worry about it.
Corey out here dropping bars.
No, it's just problematic because, like, again, and it's not just him. It's him and other folks, and even our own folks. The lack of empathy is amazing, and the stereotypes, like, yo, the boys talking about, like, yo, how y'all all have kids out of wedlock, y'all all do this, the victim, like, all those things are so crazy, like, it's insane.
Those are all, like you said, the Fox News sound bites, and so every day these folks are programmed by the powers that be to believe this nonsense.
Yeah, and I think the other one that I thought was really interesting, he said, you guys should fix inner city schools. And I was like, well, I think one of the things that you should be doing, sir, is talking to your state legislator to ensure that the zip code that someone lives in does not dictate their education. Maybe you should be doing that. Because here's the problem, is that you have property taxes, which are directly related to education, which is inherently a classist and racist system. But again, you don't want to talk about that because it's easier to put the onus on the oppressed as opposed to looking at the oppressor. I have a real problem with that.
But here's the thing. What we got to be really careful about, right, is the people who we are taking information from. Because there are a lot of black talking heads that are parroting and repeating and regurgitating.
I just shared the actual post. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. I just shared the post to the group. If you look at the Black Wealth Project group, I put the whole post in there.
Yeah, I have it right here, Jimmy.
You found it already. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on the screen. So this post was talking about Bob Johnson, the former creator or founder of BET, that the government should give black folks $14 trillion in reparations. So we've been getting a bunch of white folks making comments, off-color comments, and usually either Corey or Courtney catches them. I think Corey enjoys it though.
I do, but I'm not gonna say the reason why on here, but I do. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
If I say the reason why on Fedbook, they might come get me.
Fedbook.
So this guy, Tom Knucklehead, Tom Idiot, said, "What a tool!" Talking about Bob Johnson, 14 trillion among 42 million Black Americans. That's $333,000 from all taxpayer dollars. But what I really find interesting about this argument, or lack of argument, is that government still took advantage of free labor as well. Black folks built the White House.
That's what I said.
What's that?
I said that.
Yeah. Oh, you said that? I didn't see it.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
You can just open it up. Because I went in on today. I have one that's historical background, and then I basically went in on the other side. I mean, and it's just the fact that he was telling black people with money, those rich black people, what they should do with their money. Well, wait a second. And it was like the way he went on about it. It's like you're saying basically they had the audacity to be rich.
Then he erased some of his comments too, because I make people I kind of make people do that when I start to set fire to their ass. They start erasing comments and backtracking. Because it was like 5 more comments on there, but they were so easily dismissed. They start to erase them, so you're not gonna get the full context because trolls tend to go hide when you shine light on them.
Yeah, because they're like roaches.
Facts, big facts. So
all right, let's not give this guy too much shine, too much highlight. Moving along to the next topic.
What's that?
It's something that came out this week that everybody's been up in arms about. Can anybody take a guess?
The vice president pick.
There you go. So here's the question to the panel. What do you think about this pick?
I mean, I went on a little rant. At the end of my rant, I started to get angry. On one hand, just the ability to see a black person, a black woman in particular, that went to a HBCU, like in the White House. I think that I would love to see that for sure. I'd 100% love to see that. Right now, the other part, I kind of feel like black folks are being trolled a little way. Like, I understand kind of why he picked her, but of this year, of all years, when the theme of the year has been defund the police brutality, you choose someone that is going to be in her words, a prosecutor president. Like, how tone deaf does the party have to be? But I understand, listen, she's black. She's also has an Indian mom, so she kind of get that appeal too. Then the AKAs, support us. So she already has a national network. She has, she's super intelligent. She handles herself very well in the cross examinations on, but all in all, we just keep getting thrown these candidates in our face that we really don't want. Like, Kamala is brilliant.
Kamala.
Okay, that's what I said, right?
No.
You said Cam. Courtney's that's her AKA sister.
But no, it's not even that. It's important that we get what is in a name. It's important that we get people's names right, because I think if we can say Gorbachev, we can say Kamala.
Okay.
Okay. Is that her name, Kamala? Is that it? Is it Kamala or Kamala? It's Kamala. Okay. Okay. Well,
finish your point.
Kamala, right? But the point is like, I get it, but there's already been hundreds of thousands of people that said they won't support her before she's even nominated. Like, they were adamant about not supporting her. Like, a lot of people, it wasn't just a small number of people. I know tons of people like, nah, anybody but her, because of her prosecutor background, which is problematic, right? And so to stuff them down our throat, I think it's a problem with the Democratic Party, and I said it, and I will say right now that after this election, because I'm afraid of Trump, I gotta vote for Democrat in this election. But if it wasn't for that, I would either vote the opposite side, or I will abstain on the national level if they keep with these shenanigans. Like I can't keep holding my nose and voting, man. How long I gotta hold my nose? You know?
Hold on, Courtney. Let him finish his point.
I thought he was done.
No. I'm done. I'm done. Go ahead.
I knew he was done. Thanks. Listen, and this has nothing to do with her Kamala's sorority affiliation. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think we kind of just need to take that off the table for now. My concern is that we vilify prosecutors. And I really feel like just as much as you need a defense attorney, you need a prosecutor. Just as much as nobody's looking at the laws that she was prosecuting on and basically saying how biased they were. No one's having that conversation because it takes a lot of different people to tango to actually create laws that are then prosecuted. So I think we really need to stop vilifying Black prosecutors. Now through the lens of 2020, through the lens of 2018, are some of the decisions that she made in the early 2000s, late 90s, are they questionable? Absolutely. But again, hindsight is unfortunately 2020. And I say that as an attorney who did serve in multiple levels on a prosecutorial level. And there were some laws I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Now, did I have discretion to say, okay, how are we going to go about it? But the things that she was prosecuting, there was no discretion. She had no discretion. They have mandatory minimums. Who came up with that? Those are things that we should really be looking at. And I'm not saying that, and I also feel like we have an idea of when we had the DIMS purity test. Again, we just had a conversation. People are not the same as they were years ago. I mean, and if you look at her record in the Senate, she is the most progressive senator that you have. And again, I mean, and then people are saying, well, I'm not going to vote. And it's like, no, it's a bigger issue than who's the vice president. We have Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Right now, we have a 5-4. There's 5 conservatives on the Supreme Court. You have 5 conservatives and 4 liberals. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg is hanging on by a thread. The Supreme Court will change a generation, multiple generations. The Warren Court was actually the most progressive court that we've ever had, and that was from the 50s. And it's still affecting us today. So that's over almost my mom was born in the 50s. She was 70 years later. I'm being affected by some of the moves the Warren Court made. Brown versus the Board of Education, Miranda versus Arizona. If Miranda versus Arizona makes the police tell you your rights when you get arrested, and in this particular court, even with this 5-4 conservative majority, they've been undoing a lot of that. Roe v. Wade came out of the Warren Court. And again, I share all of that to say there's more at issue than just who the vice president is. That's it. And I feel like we've gotten very tunnel vision. It's like we're petulant children. I don't like who the vice president candidate is. I'm not going to vote. Are you serious? Do you see what the person in the White House has done? I have so many people that have been adversely affected by COVID itself, not even from the business aspect, but health-wise. Black people have all these comorbidities. So if they get COVID, we have some real serious problems. The likelihood of their demise is a lot higher. So again, you have this person that actually has perpetuated this plague upon the nation, and we want to talk about the purity test? Come on. It's ridiculous. It's asinine. And I'm tired of it. We don't like everybody. You're just not. And people didn't like Hillary, and look at it. And I mean, I wasn't jumping up and down about Hillary, but I knew that there was something bigger on the line.
Gordy,
so I'm gonna agree with you.
Hold on, Malik. Corey, what you got on?
But she responded me directly.
Yeah, but it's a
go ahead. Because I don't have nothing nice to say, so go ahead.
So what I'm saying, Becky Courtney, I agree with you 100%. I think that's the reason why I said I'm afraid of what Trump's going to do is what I'm going to vote. But what I'm saying is, in order to get someone, we know that people feel that way. We know that people won't vote for somebody that they dislike. So why not give them somebody that they can like, or at least won't dislike in advance, right? Yes, the Senate is important. Yes, the 200 federal lifetime judges that Trump had already put in a position is important. But it's also important that the Democrats understand this is a voting process, right? The Republicans understand it, and they get behind their candidates. But you're right, the purity test. But what Kamala, has done, it goes beyond just being a prosecutor. I like Marilyn Mosby; she's a prosecutor. I'm saying, and so it's not a problem with prosecutors. It's a problem what she has done. It's a problem with people under her watch have done as far as suppressing evidence, releasing evidence after the fact. These are things that I didn't know any of this until 3 or 4 days ago when I asked the question, what's wrong with her? And then I was like, okay, read this. I was like, oh, damn, that's kind of bad. Then once again, I'm going to vote Democrat. I have to. Because like I said, that Senate seat, that Supreme Court seat, that alone is important enough for me to go ahead and get out here and do it. But I understand 100% why the people are not going to. And I understand, and Democrats need to understand, the party as a whole needs to understand they have to get the majority of people out there to vote. If they are already saying in advance, I don't want her, and you give her anyway, and you're saying, so what? Take it because we said so, that is a problem. And that can't continue to happen. So that's it.
Corey, you got something on this or no?
Listen, congratulations to her individually. So, I found something nice to say.
Okay. All right, Jimmy, you look bored over there.
No, I'm not going to really say too much because I try to stay away from this. But I understand both points, right? But what bothers me is everything that Courtney is saying is true. But it's like, don't the Democrats know that as well? Don't they understand how important it is? Like, my thing is, if it is that important, it is that important, right? Which is why actually I respect the people that just come online and say, look, anybody but 45, anybody but him, right? I respect that. But then when the other folks who try to sell you on the other side, it's like, don't try to sell me on the other side. Just tell me you want anybody but But Malik's point, with how serious this is, imagine running a business and everything that your consumer is telling you that you want, and you say, no, I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to give you this. That just baffles me. It bothers me and it baffles me. But this is what we have. But I hate that idea of the lesser two evils. That bothers my existence. But I don't really have anything nice to say other than the fact that they have to do better. So actually, Courtney and Malik are both right? So she's talking about how important this is in purity test, but his point is good as well. Like, don't they know how important this is? Like, you're giving us someone that the people already told you they don't want, and there's no disrespect to her. Congratulations to her for she made history. I just don't understand it. Like, I don't understand, from a business standpoint, your consumers telling you no, and you saying here.
All right, so let me take that. Because this is my question to everybody. Who else was better than her to run, right? And by the way, when y'all say the Democratic Party gives that, it's not a Democratic Party. That's who Joe Biden picked, right? The Democratic Party is involved to a certain degree. I
have a problem with him too, though.
But that's neither here nor there. The problem to air that out was in the primary. And old boy dropped out. Not Biden, Bernie dropped out. So what else is there to talk about at this point? The people didn't vote in a different way. Biden's there. Everybody knows Trump sucks. What else is there to really talk about? And that's what I don't understand. By the way, what exactly does the vice president do?
No, but to your point, right? To your point. So my thing is, and this is something, nothing against her or anything like that, but I think most people are saying they're going to go that way, but they still have, they still can question, right? You can back someone and still question them and try to hold them accountable. It's almost like people don't even want you to hold certain people accountable because they look at that as, okay, well, if you're holding her accountable, you must be a Trump person. And I don't think that's true either. It's more nuanced than that.
It's more nuanced than that, but there's a lot of things going on. But I do want to say this one thing. The majority of people are not against Kamala Harris. There's a large majority of black people that don't like her, but the majority of voters are not against Kamala. I think there's been this narrative that's been painted that thinks the black vote has more weight than what it actually does. It has weight in certain places. We lead the cool. We all know that. But the sheer number of white voters versus black voters, there's a disparity there. I mean, if we're 14% of the population and the other, let's say 80 or 75 is white, are those polls right? I mean,
can Democrats win without the black vote?
In certain places, yes. I think so.
On a national level?
I think so, yes.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh, well, I'm going by the numbers. Just by the sheer numbers.
By the sheer numbers, she polled bad when they asked the polling that came out in reference to her being the pick, and it wasn't black voters, it was all voters, all Democratic voters.
Right, but we learned last election that polls are not accurate. We already know that.
No, I'm not saying they are, but you're talking about numbers. We're talking about numbers, right?
So
and you're right.
But I'm talking about in aggregate, right? And we know there's a difference between voting population and total population. But for this
absolutely,
let's just say that it's the same numbers, 14%.
Here's what I'll say. I don't have nothing to say like negative or positive. I mean, it is what it is at this point, right? And it shouldn't be that way, but it is what it is. But what I can say is, I don't feel confident at all, right? And going into this election, I just don't feel confident.
No.
I just don't it's just I just don't feel confident, and again, there's no blame to her because I don't think that he was that strong of a candidate. I have a problem with him is that and again, I'm not trying to come off as someone but how old is he, like 78?
78.
I know that Ronald Reagan, right?
Ronald Reagan was the oldest president. When he left office, he was 77, and he looked like a wreck. Like, I don't even think, to be honest, I don't think he's going to make it through 4 years as the president, even if he's elected.
That's not the issue.
What I'm saying is
that's an issue.
He will be going into office older than anyone who's ever out of.
How old is Trump?
Like 71 or 72, something like that. He's in his early 70s.
He's 74.
Okay, 74.
He ain't that far off.
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't in the best shape.
You're right.
He could probably go.
Listen, Donald Trump is a threat to our illusion of democracy, right? Because we don't actually have a democracy. We have a democratic republic.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're right.
But Donald Trump is a threat to that. And so I get why the people say Donald Trump gotta go, because he has no respect for the Constitution, the rule of law, or any of the things that would, as a black person in this country, give us a modicum of safety. And so I don't think that we can afford to allow him to, without voting, another 4 years. But on the other side of that, to the point that Jimmy and Malik are making, is that the Democratic machine is trash as hell. Like, they just keep giving us people that we, as in aggregate, don't want. And Joe Biden is the choice, but I mean, to be honest, like, as a black person, none of these people have anything in their agenda that says we're going to specifically do anything for black people.
And so let me say this, and I don't want to belabor this, so this will be kind of the last point. We'll close out on this. Trump is also a threat to the health of the country. He totally dropped the ball on COVID. And so, and the last point I'll say is that when you think about what is going on, how can anybody expect somebody to really have an agenda for black people when black people don't have a real coalition? Every other major ethnic group that gets anything done has a major coalition. We don't.
I agree.
We don't have a lobby.
I just want to say one thing. I just want to be able to have these conversations without people. What I'm seeing, at least on my timeline, is like, either you go this way or you go that way, and it's like, you're stupid or you're crazy. We should be able to have these conversations in public. I mean, because we're not a monolith. Like we can have conversations. Like we can have these conversations. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to back a candidate. It doesn't mean that you're a Trump vote. It doesn't mean any of that. But you should be able to hold people accountable and have these conversations.
And Jimmy, I agree with you. And I fought for that in 2016. But what I've learned, and we all have learned, is that when we put out picks on stocks, people will buy the picks without doing any research. And so how much weight does our voice have when we're talking about politics?
But we fight against that too, though. We fight against that too. Stop doing that.
Wait a minute. Doesn't matter if you told them to stop. People don't read. That's just the facts. People don't understand context. That's just the facts. So if people will go and spend their money without doing any research, a lot of people will go and vote without doing their research. And that's why it's dangerous. Again, in principle, I totally agree with you, dog. I totally agree. But as I look at people follow the black lady that rocks with them, and she has absolutely no factual context, and we follow her, it's scary. It's scary.
Hey, Kamari, what's your opinion on the pick, though? You asked us what's your opinion on the pick.
I think she probably was the best person to be in place. Warren wasn't going to work. So I'm looking at it compartmentalized about VP. Warren wasn't going to work. I like Warren. She wasn't going to work. She's too far left. The other lady doesn't have as much popularity as Harris. What's her name wrong?
Klobuchar?
Not Klobuchar. I'm not a fan of Klobuchar.
Rice. You talk about Rice. Stacey Abrams or Rice.
Well, no, there was another lady. She's a congressperson. I can't think of her name. I like Rice, actually. But again, Rice doesn't. Karen Bass, thank you. Karen Bass isn't as popular as Campbell. Right. So it's and for the record, right? I'm not defending the Democratic Party. I am a student of Malcolm X when it comes to Ballot of the Bullet. To me, that is the Black political Bible. We've forgotten it. We need to go listen to it once a month. He told us the Democrats don't care and the Republicans don't care. And we pledge our right, but we pledge our allegiance. But wait a minute,
sometimes you gotta feel disrespected though, man.
Hold on. We pledge our allegiance to these platforms, to these parties, and they don't care about us. And then I think we miss the overall point. The reason why I would vote for Biden Harris is because if old boy stays in, it's going to be real hell for Black people going forward.
I get that, and I think, listen, and I get that, right? So to me, when people tell me that, I'm like, okay, that's understandable. But it's the people who try to sanitize the pick and break it down and why it's the greatest thing. When I know for a fact you don't believe in it, because I remember when she was running against Biden, you were going in, you don't believe it either. But if you tell me what you just said right there, that makes perfect sense. And I agree with you too. I don't care about either one of these parties. I'm also a student of the Ballot of the Bullet. And unless we move in blocks, it doesn't matter. But I understand Malik's point. Sometimes you feel disrespected though. Like, dude, like this is like really.
But again, being a student of the Ballot of the Bullet, I'm not expecting respect from them. They're part of the problem. Right. So again, when I watch old girl, I'm trying not to say her name, but talk about believing the Democratic plantation, and the Democrats are responsible for all Black worst things. Well, what about Nixon? What about the war on drugs? Like he is
the single most destructive person in the second half of the 20th century to Black people.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, but Reagan said, "Hold my beer for a second, though."
But fact. But I think
no, man. Nixon got Reagan beat, man.
He does.
He did. And the thing is, he actually had an agenda against Black people, though. He said, I can't make it illegal to be I can't make it illegal to be Black, and I can't make it illegal to be against the war. But what I can do is I can criminalize the things that we associate with them, and then we can disrupt their communities. That was his move. And he did it well. Yeah. He's been plaguing us for over 40 years, so he did a good job.
And by the way, Reagan carried out Reagan carried out Nixon's agenda.
He did.
Yeah.
Facts. We had a little brief respite, with Jimmy Carter, and he just had a really bad situation with the economy. And I mean, so when Reagan got up there and was like, yo, if your life is better than it was 4 years ago, then, vote with him. But if it's not, and that's what happened. I mean, the economy runs it. But I mean, I feel like, and the thing is, I think one of the things that we should be actively doing with our money as part of the Black Wealth Project is we should be developing young talent. that's accountable to our agenda. And I think that's what we really need to be doing. So a lot of people are like, well, I don't like this. Well, there's nothing we can do about that. I get it. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. And I like to be very careful about having those conversations, because again, Kamari makes a very valid point. I can see if we were able to have this discourse and kind of come back to, okay, this is our consensus, but a lot of people are like, well, I don't like that, so I'm just going to go this other direction. It's like, that may not be it. And again, I'm just concerned about the overall. I mean, and I don't have a comment on the pick. I just have a comment about the agenda and what that means for my children and my children's children in terms of how they'll be treated, vis-a-vis the Constitution and all the protections we supposedly have, which we don't, and the fact that, the executive branch has just been doing whatever it wants. So these are my, like, the Postal Service. You're picking up the post boxes for real?
Crazy.
We're doing?
Like, he wilding out with that.
Like,
but not only that, people don't realize that they destroyed the Civil Rights Division in the Department of Justice.
Well,
right? There's a lot going on.
But here's the other thing, though. We have voting issues generally because the Supreme Court, that 5-4 that we have, they actually gutted the enforcement clause of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And they tried to fix it in Congress, and it's still on Mitch McConnell's desk.
Yeah.
But
see, that's the thing. That's my thing. I agree with you 100%. But that's why it bothers me that this is what you give us, because of how serious this is. This is so serious. Why? Why
would you present us with something when we have this big of a problem? Why would you present us with these two candidates? It's like they try to lose on purpose. It's like they throw the game.
Part of me thinks they really are trying to lose on purpose because they get to keep their job. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let me ask y'all this question. The Jewish community votes about 80% of the time. By the way, I'm not trying to say politics is all about voting. There's more to it than that.
Right.
What's the rate of voting for Black communities?
4%.
Well, it's higher than that. But y'all keep saying they give us. Listen, either you at the table or you on the menu. Period, point blank.
It's 4, Corey? It's 4?
No, it's like
no, it's higher. It's higher than that. But when I say us, I'm talking about just the American people in general. But this is what you said. We're in a situation where it's this serious. It's like this is this serious.
But our lack of involvement in that leaves us vulnerable. But we can't talk about that because everybody wants to talk about Miss Harris, because I can't say her name. That's why I'm saying Miss Harris, with her prosecutorial. But they don't talk about her reentry program, right? There's no context there. We're taking one point and going off that. By the way, Republican bots are in full effect. They are working, and they are working hard, and it's been reported in Moscow Mitch and the Trump Tower in Moscow Central. They don't care. So add all that in. But
this is why the choice was that important. But we're going in a circle. I'll just say that I'm not, I really didn't engage in the conversations at all. I didn't even want to have this one, but it is that important.
Right.
My sisters and brothers, I had this conversation because, to be honest, I wouldn't have said anything either, man, because it's I understand the importance of it, which is why I have been not saying anything.
Right.
Because
exactly.
I've been trying to not say anything because I know how important it is. Like it's an absolute mess. And so you brought the question up, and because I respect us together, I responded to it. You know what I mean? And I tried to be as positive as possible. But I'm gonna be honest, man. This is trash. Like this is the if they wanted us to be excited about what was going on and get us out to the polls, this is not the move. This wasn't it.
I feel like we're in trouble.
You know how hard it's going to be to vote this year? I mean, we don't even know, are they going to have in-person voting? Is it only going to be, it can't be mail-in. They're closing the post office down.
And they closing the sorting machine. Yeah, he broke down the sorting machine, and you can't even mail it in. And then if you do mail it in, there's no sorting machines to get it out.
No sorting machines. People don't understand. Why isn't there an outrage on Capitol Hill about what the fuck he's doing? Why aren't they mad?
They are.
I don't understand.
Listen, Mitch McConnell.
No,
listen.
We can't talk over each other, y'all.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell was in control of that, and to the point that Jimmy was making, it's not even making it to his desk.
Right.
So there are concerns about it, and there are people who have voiced their concerns about it. But with him,
they went on recess.
But here's the problem.
But they're not in control of it.
They're not. It's part of the executive branch. It's an independent agency of the executive branch. Who's the head of the executive branch?
Right. What I'm saying is, why aren't they? Listen, even Democrat or Republican. Why? I mean, the Democrats want to have a hearing with the postmaster, but why aren't Republicans like, oh shit, we understand it's for us, but this is kind of going too far. This is going too far.
Malik, they don't have any power. I'm trying to explain to you, they don't have any power. This is part of the executive branch.
They got voices. They got voices.
It doesn't matter. They don't have. I'm trying not to get frustrated, but here's the thing. The Republicans have been defunding the Postal Service since the 1970s.
Yep.
No facts, no chaser. And the thing is, initially it was a cabinet level position. Then they moved it to it was a department, then a cabinet level position, and then they moved it off the cabinet as a department, and then moved it off to an independent agency. So again, they've been consistently removing its funding. And that's why people have been complaining about how high stamps have been going up in the last 20 years, because their funding has been removed. So here's my other problem, is that Congress is supposed to create a post office. I forget what the Constitution phrasing is, but they're basically supposed to create a post office. They didn't say how, and then they did so, but then it still falls under the executive branch. A lot of this stuff falls under the executive branch. That's why the president is so daggone important.
Yep.
And so I get that. I get what your concerns are, but Congress don't got no power. It's not under their umbrella. This separation of power stuff, it's not there. It's not in their pot. They can't season it, no nothing. They just gotta look at it.
Listen, I just want to tell our people to, in the words of Marlo, man, you got to tool up. Like,
tool up.
Get you some crypto, some metals, and some guns, man, because it's about to get scary out here. Because we in trouble. Like, I understand this is the pick is we in trouble. We're in trouble. Tool up. Especially the guns part.
We're definitely in trouble. And that's that's a bigger issue, because even still, so let's be very honest. If 45 is removed from the White House, a couple things. He's not going willingly. One. Mm-hmm. Two, the stuff that he's done over the last 4 years, you don't even really see that stuff roll out for another couple of years. Yeah. So the stuff that Bill Clinton was doing, we didn't see the effects of that until after a while, after he was out of office. Same thing with a lot of the great economy that the current person in office received was a result of what Obama did. So we're going to get hit with a lot of the nonsense that Trump did years from now. So again, I mean, I'm just frustrated. I mean, again, I think someone said it earlier, is that he doesn't respect the rule of law. He doesn't respect the Constitution, doesn't respect the rule of law. That was Corey. Okay, the moments clause. He just boop, 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 boop. He don't care. He don't care.
The moments clause.
The moment clause is basically you can't profit from anything when you're in office. I mean, it's basically it's a separation of your money with everything else.
He trampled all over
it. He just trampled all over it, because all the other presidents that in recent times have had what's called a blind trust. They basically have no involvement with their business interests for that reason, not to violate that clause. He didn't care. And at no point, and this is the reason why we have to have the Senate, because the Senate should have removed him. He was impeached and he should have been removed based on what happened. Because we have the Senate.
But why didn't they remove him, Courtney?
Why didn't they remove him? Because it was on partisan lines.
Right.
So those are the things that, I mean, I get excited. They're like, oh, the president's the president. Yeah, but I need people to be confirmed. So therefore, we need to have the one side needs to have and I get the ball of the bullet. I get that at the end of the day, we don't really have that many choices. And I think that's something that has to be acknowledged. I think Jimmy and Corey have said that repeatedly. Our choices are not amazing. And I think it's across the board. And I think one of the things that we need to do as people with wealth is that we actually need to fund our own agenda. We have to fund our agenda, or nobody else is going to do it for us.
But we got to get an agenda first.
Huh?
We got to get an agenda first.
Right. But I mean, honestly, that's long term. What we going to do, like in the next fucking 2 months? Like this shit, like right now, like we don't even know how, like seriously, like how are we going to vote? We don't know how this election is going to even work. Nobody even knows how it's going to go.
Like physically, how are people going to vote physically?
I'm wearing my mask and I'm going to the poll. I'm not trusting the mail-in ballot.
I'm just saying they're changing polling places. This is what they're doing, which is what LeBron James and so again, when we're talking about I mess with LeBron on a whole different level, right? Because he understands things and does things that you can see how it will help black people, right? Mm-hmm. So felons not able to vote, he put his money behind that. Mm-hmm. People not being able to get out to the polling place, he reached out to the NBA arenas, he reached out to the football arena and said, look, people don't know where to go vote. Make this a polling place, a central polling place where people can come vote. I'll pay for it. Or we'll get a group of people to pay for it and create a polling place so people can come out and vote. And so that's important, like, because what's happening is, and this has been happening for the last 20 years because Republicans have done two things. They have done gentrification and then
gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering and gentrification both together have created a situation where there are less Republican voters, but their power is infinitely bigger. They just did the math. And so that's another thing that the Democratic Party hasn't done. They didn't do the math. Republicans are getting less and less and less and less and less votes each cycle, and they keep getting more and more and more and more representation. And so that's something that we have to talk about. And so that doesn't have to do necessarily with the president, but that's something that we need to deal with. You know what I mean? Like that.
There's a question in the chat that I thought I kind of made clear. And so Sheree said, Cam, are you, only white people call me Cam, by the way, but Cam, are you a avowed Democrat or do you just like Trump? Again, I could give two shits about the parties, right? I just want to make that clear. I'm not an avowed Democrat. And yes, I dislike Trump. If you search my name in Democrat, you will see how much I talk bad about the Democratic Party. This isn't about the party. This is about the situation. Every situation needs a different narrative. Every situation needs different tactics. So again, it's not about Democrat or Republican. We keep falling into that trap. I'm black. This shirt says African. I'm an African in America who recognizes history of not being treated fairly by both parties. Both parties. So when you ask me that, like, y'all ain't listening, dog. Y'all ain't listening.
But I think Corey made a really valid point. He was talking about LeBron. He said there was an issue with felons being disenfranchised in Florida, and he put his money because basically what Florida has instituted was an unconstitutional poll tax. They said, listen, if you are a former felon, you have to pay your fines and you have to basically make the state whole of whatever the issue was. I don't know, what was required. And it went up to the Supreme Court, this 5-4 that we have. And you know what they did? They declined to deal with it.
But Gordy, can we take it back a step? And the people of Florida voted for Andrew Gillum. Forget about his current day problems. We won't be going through this. I'm just saying, y'all said we got to separate business and personal.
I didn't say nothing, man. I didn't say anything.
It's fake stuff. And I know it's coming.
I didn't say anything. I mean, but I agree. I mean, I think we have we have some places where protections have fallen down, but I think you made a very valid point, is that there's a lot of stuff that has happened to us that has been completely unfair. Yep. I mean, since we got here.
Yeah.
We got here at 19, and stuff hasn't been fair since then. And here's the other thing, is that things are not going to be. And I think that's something that we have to stop expecting. I don't expect fairness.
You know what fair is. You know what fair is.
We do know what fair is, but it doesn't exist in this context.
What?
Nah, man. Fair is just something they talk about with the weather, man. It really doesn't exist. Fair is just something they talk about with the weather.
Everybody out there, tool up.
But the one thing that he's working on right now, that the one linchpin, that black wealth. I'm saying, listen, I know they saying what's supposed to be at 0, but I know a lot of young black cats get into it right now, man. A lot of people who I didn't expect really to be making ends, making real inroads right now. I know a lot of new young black millionaires. Now the average person might be struggling a little bit, but the more we get the information out, the more this black wealth we get. I think we need the black wealth to make any of these changes. We gotta get that black wealth up for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Agreed. All right, so as we come to a close for the evening, quick question: any black joy moments of the week?
Yeah, I got one real quick.
Okay.
I saw that those 17 families in Georgia starting their own town. They bought that 100-something acres down there.
96 acres.
Oh, I didn't see that.
How much is it, Corey?
96 acres.
96 acres. So they own town out in Georgia, man. It's like, nah, we're gonna do our own town. Salute to them on that.
Wow.
Buy a town and tie it down.
I supply it now by the pound.
Right. That's right. Anybody get anything else? I'm gonna take that as a no. All right.
No, I mean, a new episode of P Valley was fire, but that's pretty much it.
I have a joy moment. My podcast with Corey and Jimmy went live this week.
Oh, yes, it did. And we got a lot of great feedback, too. The people love Courtney. Courtney, people that follow you, they love you, yo.
I know. Today, I finished my continuing ed, so I'll be able to watch the episode.
Yo, I still didn't finish, yo. And the state be sending me emails like, yo, you got to the 29th. I still ain't finished.
Yeah, I finished my today.
Come on now. Let's get it moving.
Yeah, let's get it together, folks. We need y'all. All right, so as we close out, how can the community support our panel? What do you guys need help with? Going with you first, Coach Carter. What you got? What you need help with?
You know what, man? Finding people that actually want to work is harder than I thought. I thought I could find 1,000 people that want a job easy. It's hard work. It's hard work to find people that at least want this first batch of jobs available. I mean, I don't know if $25 an hour is too low or driving is beneath them, but I haven't really begun a bunch. I only got like 3 or 4 people that are like, I want to get a job. I thought I have like 100 applications in so far, but listen, just right that want to work, send them my way right now. All I have is 300 driving jobs, and the executive jobs aren't posted just yet. But the dispatch jobs aren't posted just yet. But the driving jobs you can fill right now. If the first batch of jobs is $16 an hour, the second batch of jobs is $25 an hour. So if anybody that wanna work, driving and delivering packages all locally, then send my inbox.
All right, that's what's up. I really appreciate what you're doing too, Malik. I think that's dope. It's really about we taking what we have and we try to make the best out of it. And that's what Malik's doing. I mean, that's what all of us are doing, but I really like what Malik's doing with that program.
Cash in your buckets where you are.
Right. Shamice asked, what's the name of the podcast? The name of the podcast is By the Hood.
By the Hood.
So it's not my podcast. I just, did a cameo and a guest appearance on yeah. So it's the By the Hood podcast, as Jimmy and Corey's podcast. Is flipping amazing. Follow them on all social media. They have a good old time with the memes. Right. But it's really educational, just really dope experience. And it was a great conversation that wasn't really focused about money, but I think the answers come back to money. Like, the results of what the work that you do inside, it shows outside. Gotcha.
Corey or Jimmy, can you give the people where they can find your podcast at?
Yeah, you can go to By the Hood right here on Facebook or YouTube. Just go look up By the Hood. You can look up By the Hood podcast in your search engine. We should pop up. Instagram, we have you on Instagram, instagram.com/bythehood. Yeah, and for me, I just want to tell everybody, listen, we appreciate all the support. Our podcast, did extremely well. People love Courtney, and continue to share my memes, man, because I put a lot of work into them. As a meme legend, I gotta just tell you folks that I really appreciate all the support, and also make sure you check out what everybody else got going on. But go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/bythehood, and you can watch a lot of the content that we have there, because we've been going heavy on the content on YouTube. So youtube.com/bythehood. It's all sorts of clips from our podcast, full episodes of our podcast, as well as clips from our Friday live and just individual clips that we make to try to help the people, right?
That's dope. That's dope. Corey, how can the community help you, sir?
All right, so I'm going to start by telling you, Courtney sent me $2 last week, and my $2 turned into $2.11. So,
Fire.
So that was amazing.
That's another 5%, right?
Yep. I made another 5% on that $2. So that's 5.5% on that $2. And I'm,
week.
in a week. I made 5.5% on my money. I don't never discount nothing. But
hey man, we might start a 5% club.
Hey, listen, if I'm gonna get 5% on my Bitcoin a week, I'm gonna keep asking. So $CoreyCamp. Is any money that you send me to that address goes to my Bitcoin / I'ma disappear out your life fund. If you like me or dislike me, that's the place to send money to. Anything you send to Square or to Cash App, I put it into my Bitcoin fund, and once I get enough Bitcoin, I'm going to disappear. So whether you like me or dislike me, please send me money to Cash App. If you want to see me succeed or fail, that's the place to send the money to.
All right. I love that. Courtney, you have an event coming up, right?
Ooh, yes. I have a 3-day summit that starts tomorrow. It is Mastering the 7 Streams of Income. So over these 3 days, I have 6 experts. We'll be talking about all the 7 streams of income, which if I can do them off the top of my head, it would be earned income, interest income, royalty income, business income, dividend income, capital gains income. And I'm missing one, y'all. Did I say rental? I did.
You said it all.
Yeah, rental. There you go.
Rental. So I have 6 different experts. I'm covering interest and dividend income because it's just easy to smush them together. So that's what's going on. Signups close tomorrow at noon. I'm super excited that it's, I have I don't know if you guys know, I have my stepson. He has been my assistant, and it is so amazing as a business owner. I guess that's also part of my Black joy to be able to employ my stepson. Like, I just think that is so dope. I'm like, do this. And he's excited about it. And I was like, all right, when we get done, we're going to recap how this went, what I could have improved, what we could have done differently. And I think, honest to goodness, even if he never becomes an entrepreneur, it at least that puts him in the business mindset. And we're really just putting those seeds down. So I get excited. But the signups close at noon. It is all done tomorrow at noon. Don't slide in my inbox asking me to join. I don't think we're going to do a replay. So I would probably get in now. And that's what's going on this week. 3 days of talking about increasing those 7 streams.
That's dope. That's super duper dope.
Thank you.
I do want to say this, right? As the community is in turmoil with all these financial entanglements, Courtney stays clear of all that stuff. So, that's why I'm glad Courtney is part of the team. That's why I'm glad Courtney is a friend of mine. So,
listen, cry.
Listen, so support us because we're here every week to support you all. Last but not least, I have my ask. And my ask is, can everybody go support, listen, watch, comment, like the Finance Rebel Show? I got to add, Malik's been on. His episode's about to come up. Courtney's been on, but I need to get Courtney back. And I got to have Malik and, I got to have Corey and Jimmy on. So
just say when.
Hopefully they can make time for me in their busy schedule to in between Jimmy making memes and trying to out and curling his hair. But
just say when, man. Yo, just say when, man.
But
say word.
We'll definitely do that really, really soon. So listen, if y'all enjoy the conversation, I've seen a lot of people say they enjoy the conversation. We do these because we know there's a lot of misinformation out there. And everybody on this panel reads. Everybody on this panel understands context. All of y'all read that are in the audience. All of y'all understand context. So help us grow this tribe so we can get more conversation, dialogues about the right things out there in the Black community. We'll see you all next Sunday, 7 p.m. Again, share us, like, and comment because we got to fight the algorithms. And let's all have a good time, save some money, help some people, and make sure y'all drink your water, folks.
Good night.
Everybody, have a great night.
Good night.
Peace.
Peace.